Hair growth and hair color. What you can do to actually improve your hair growth as you get older, hair gets thinner and grows less, and the color changes as well. What are the things you can do to reverse that? I'm Alan Warnitz, nutrition expert. I help people restore their health with nutrition. Today I will talk about hair growth and hair color and how you can learn nutritional aspect of improving that. So let me give you a little bit of a description first so that you can understand what happens with hair growth, what actually prevents it from growing, and how aging makes it get worse, and what you can do to reverse that. So here's a little diagram that I've drawn, and up here is the skin, and below the skin is you've got what is called a hair follicle. It's this little part here, like there's a bulb there, and then there's a little passage, like a tube, where the hair grows through the tube and comes out through the skin and out there. So this can be on your skin here or on your head as well. So it's the same procedure. So at the bottom of the bulb here, they call the hair bulb, this is where new hair cells divide and grow. This is a constant, continuous process that happens. So from birth till death, that happens. From birth, your hair, that hair follicle, that portion here with the bulb, is at a certain size, and as you grow older, that starts becoming smaller and smaller, starts shrinking, and as you get older, your hair becomes less strong and becomes more brittle. So how do you keep your hair strong even when you're older, at the same level as you are when you're 20 years old? And this is what I will describe through that video. So stay with me until you understand all the parts that you need to have in place so that you can actually get your hair to regrow and bring it back to its original glory. So here is where the housing, and it nurtures the hair root. So here you'll see I've put a blood vessel here. So the blood vessel brings nutrients and oxygen. So the nutrients and oxygen arrive, go through the thing into the follicle, and they make the new hair. So as long as it's got all the nutrients, I will explain to you what are the nutrients you need to have in place, because if you are missing nutrients, then there's not enough nutrients to go there, the hair doesn't get built. Or what can have happened is you can have also, the hair follicle can also have been damaged. If somebody has had cancer therapy or radiotherapy, that could have damaged that. So you've seen people who've had cancer therapy losing their hair because it's gone to damage the hair follicle. If you have autoimmune diseases, that can also be affected. An autoimmune disease called alopecia will actually also affect the growth of the hair, and you get hair loss. So these are the factors that are involved here. How do you nurture this? How do you look after that? And on top here, you've got what is called the sebaceous gland, which releases sebum. So the sebum will come into the hair here and out over the skin. This is to moisturize the hair and protect it. So it moisturizes your hair and your scalp. So it protects it. Your hair is made of keratin. Keratin is a protein. So there's a combination of proteins. I will explain about what proteins you need to take to actually manufacture your hair. So now, what is the structure of your hair? What is it made up of? Your hair, the structure of your hair and the strength of your hair is dependent on collagen. So keratin, collagen, all together, they make the hair, the structure of your hair. So what do you need to have to make collagen? There's amino acid called lysine, proline, and you have to have vitamin C. So when you have those three in place, the body makes collagen. So when the collagen is available, now you can have the manufacturing of your hair. So your hair now becomes strong as well. So where's collagen? I'm sure you've heard about collagen. Collagen is for your skin. It makes your skin tight. As you get older, your collagen degenerates. So now if you can rebuild collagen, then you'll have nicer skin and tighter skin, and it also helps with your cartilage and your joints. So collagen has got many other utilities other than the hair. So today we're talking about the hair. Now, what can we do? Let's say you're getting older now. So by the time you're 50 or 60, you find your hair is getting thinner, your hair is falling, and it's losing its color. Why is that? It's because it was discovered in about 1973 there is what is called a copper peptide. A peptide is a small chain of amino acids. For those of you who don't know what amino acids are, basically your protein that you eat, which is from your meats, from fish, eggs, milk, this is protein which you find. The body breaks it down into its components, into small parts, and there is 21 amino acids that are available. So the copper peptide, the GHK copper peptide, is 3 amino acids. There's an amino acid called glycine, another one called histidine, another one called lysine, and it bonds with copper. That has an amazing property. It does amazing things to the body. So it's naturally occurring in the body. So as long as you eat properly, you eat your foods, you eat your proteins now are digested in the stomach, in the intestines, and out comes amino acids, and then it's being supplied in the blood, and it supplies those 3, then they bond together. When they bond together, they have amazing properties, and I will explain to that. So it's naturally occurring. So at 20 years old, it's been measured. There's a certain level in your blood at 200 nanograms per milliliters of blood. When you're at 60 years old, that level is at 80 nanograms per milliliter. In other words, it's dropped more than half. It has been found when this copper peptide is in abundance at 200 milligram, everything is like you're acting as a young person. So young people have got that volume, so everything is right. So in other words, your hair growth is normal, it's strong, the color is right because there is copper peptide circulating in the blood and helping it. What does copper peptide do? When I said amazing, what does it do? The copper peptide, it activates collagen production. So when the peptide is available and circulating in the blood, it activates, it makes it go faster, it makes it work. So when that is working, that's why there is a constant supply of collagen. That's why young people have got nice skin, young skin, tight skin, because of the production of collagen, which includes your hair. So let's say now this has been damaged with radiation, or has been damaged with chemicals, or with autoimmune diseases. What happens is sometimes the blood vessels get damaged. So that means there's no blood coming through. There's no blood vessels. But when there's copper peptide, it activates what is called angiogenesis. Genesis means manufacturing. So angio has got to do with blood vessels and heart. It makes blood vessels. So in other words, it remanufactures blood vessels because it's a healing process. So with copper peptide in healing, it activates the production of new blood vessels. So which means as long as you've got blood vessels going around the follicles, that means food and nutrients are going to go into the cells to make new hair. So if there's been damage to blood circulation, then this is one way that the hair will actually not be manufactured and hair falls. So that's what it does. It builds new vessels. Copper peptide, when you're at your 40s, 50s, and 60s, if you take your copper peptide and you take it from 80 and you bring it back to the same level of 200, you can bring it down to this is called youthful level. The levels that it was when you were young. If you can do this, what it does, it resets the genes. It makes your genes go young again. What happens is there is a production of cells and the remanufacturing of cells. It takes a certain time. And cells replenish themselves. Let's say at 20 years old, every 20 days it replenishes itself. As you get older, it takes a lot longer. So what it does with the genes, when there's a high levels of copper peptide, and when you're 50 or 60, you're going back to this production of 20 years old. So when you're going back to a production of 20 years old, the genes, the DNA, goes back and says, no, you've got enough copper peptide, that means your body is young, so the genes go now and start producing the young cells. So which means your hair production now goes back to when you were 20 years old. Which means also it actually restores, it rebuilds these things. So if there's been any damage throughout the years with chemicals, with inflammation, with radiation, whatever has damaged that, it rebuilds it. As long as you give the nutrients, it has to have the nutrients, which I will cover just now. What are the nutrients you have? But once the genes are reset, which means the DNA, the production, the instructions is be like a 20-year-old and make the hair like a 20-year-old, even though you're 50 or 60. Now, melanin, you might have heard what melanin is. It's about pigmentation. Sometimes your skin would have the right pigmentation or it would be discolored. So that's because there's some things have gone wrong in the production of melanin. So you've got overpigmentation or imbalance of pigmentation. So hair has also got pigments. The same as your skin color, hair has also got pigments. So when your hair is going gray, which means it's no longer producing melanin, so there's no production of melanin. the presence of the copper peptide restores that as well. So which means it will, with the nutrients coming in, the hair color will come back from gray hair to the normal color that your body is supposed to have, and it also it levels out the pigmentation in your body as well. So these are the benefits that copper peptide has to do. Now, how do you elevate copper peptide? The way they've normally done it, the elevation of copper peptide, is through creams. So they put the copper peptide in creams, and you put a cream on your face, and your face will come nice and will have nice skin. Or they'll put in a foam, and if the foam will be put on your hair, and that peptide goes into the hair, and it creates all this reconstruction, and the nutrients are coming, and your hair grows up. So there's also injections that you can do. There's also infrared devices, there's masks you can do, you've got devices which you hold as well, or you're going to a sauna bed. But all these things are very cumbersome, especially the creams, the injections, and the foams, because they have to put protective nutrients in the foams, in the creams. You mustn't mix it with that. It becomes very complicated. So it's a very complex thing, and it's very costly as well. And sometimes it's not predictable as well. So what can you do now? So this is the sort of the conventional way of trying to elevate the copper peptide with cream. So that's what we know. So if you want to elevate it, that's it. If you've got the money, you can do it. Now, is there an alternative to that can actually give the infrared, which is a form of light which actually activates the cells, and when the cells get activated, the copper peptide gets made. It calls the glycine, histidine, lysine, and copper. Say, come together, let's make copper peptide. Is there a way to do it? Yes, there's a way. There's a patch that's been developed now, which was released in 2018. It's the X39 patch by LifeWave. The X39 patch, the amazing thing about it, it actually does 2 in 1. What it does is, one, it helps the body produce copper peptide naturally. In other words, you don't need to put a cream or inject it or put it through there's also a way of putting it in the nose so the copper peptide goes in the brain. That's another way of doing it. You don't need to do all these things, because what it does, when you put the patch on, the light that's coming from your skin, which is your skin's got heat, the light comes in, the light goes back into the skin, and that light now, which is the infrared light that I spoke about in the devices and sauna beds, that exact light goes into the skin and activates the body to make copper peptide. So that's a natural way of raising copper peptide, non-invasive. You put it on you, leave it for 12 hours, which means it's like you've got your copper peptide being made because your body is providing the nutrients. It's being made naturally, and it elevates it. So by elevating it, now you can bring your copper peptide back to, from 80 if you're young, old, back to 200 milligrams. It takes a while. It can take a few months to get back to that level, but it happens. And when that happens, now you have to provide the nutrients. So what are the nutrients that you need to provide when this is being activated? So now you've got the patch on. That patch is on your body. You put it on your skin, or you put it at the back here. Now that is on. So what do you need to do now to supply the nutrition so that the body will actually make a peptide? So you need proteins, which is meats, eggs, and milk. So that will create the keratin. It will create the collagen. Vitamin A will help with the production of sebum. So sebum is to moisturize the hair and protect the skin here. You need biotin, vitamin B5, vitamin B6. It helps with the production of this. So as long as you've got the vitamins, it will go in there and the production will happen. You need vitamin E, which is an antioxidant. You need vitamin D, which is the hair follicle cycling. There's a cycle. In other words, from manufacturing to death, so that there's a constant supply of things. So when you're young, the cycle is very short, let's say 20 days. When you get older, it gets to 60 days, 70 days, which makes everything get whole. So vitamin D helps with that. Vitamin C helps with collagen production. You need to produce collagen, you need to have vitamin C. Now, zinc, minerals, you need zinc, which will prevent hair loss. You need copper. You need copper to produce melanin. You need copper to produce the pigment, the color. If you don't have copper, the pigment won't happen. And you need omega-3 oils and antioxidants. Omega-3 because the moisture, the sebum made from omega-3, your hair is made from omega-3, made with protein and omega-3. So you need all of these. And you need hydration, lots of water, and the hydration must come with electrolytes, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. So as long as you do this, you can have a chance of getting your hair growing. So you elevate the copper peptide, you feed the body with the nutrients, and there you go. So not only you'll get nice hair, it will also help with your skin. If you've got arthritis, it will help with rebuilding your cartilage with arthritis. If you've got back problems, it will help production of cartilage as well for your back. So there's many benefits when you raise the levels of copper peptide and you do it with the patches. Now, this is probably a lot for you to digest. I do health consultations. I do a free 30-minute health consultation. I can take you through this process, and then from the health consultation, I analyze your problems, or your nutrient problems, where you've had problems with your hair, let's say, and I will then give you a map. A map means a step-by-step sequence of things to do, and the map will take you to your destination, because you're going to tell me where you want to go, where you want to arrive, and where you're at now, and the map and the direction tells you. So then you're off, and I coach you with that. Thank you for listening to me. I look forward to hearing from you and engaging with you in helping you fix this hair problem, hair growth, and hair color.